Wicked, wicked, jungle is massive. Wicked, wicked, jungle is massive. Wicked.
Okay, good morning, year 10, or good afternoon, whenever you've decided to take a look at your work today. So it's the next lesson now with not Teach ICT, but with Creative iMedia. And we're now on to lesson 18 of R081. So, but it's lesson 6, I think, of L03. So we'll just talk through the PowerPoint again today. All of the research activities you do and all of the work you do, you need to add into your PowerPoint you've already started. Make sure you save it. And yeah, we'll go from there. Hope everybody's doing well. So today's lesson then. We're going to talk about file formats today and what we should be doing with our file formats when we are creating our documents. Now, certain file formats will do different things for on the production of our documents, whether it's an image, whether it's a video, whether it's a document, whatever. Different formats do different things, okay? And they work better in different situations. Now, we've done some stuff like this in assignment work already. So again, it's a lot of this is a lot of what we've been doing in home learning in some respects is teaching you to suck eggs, but it is stuff that comes up on your exam, and your exam is going to be in January next year, so 2021. And by the time we're probably going to get back to school and back to learning properly, it will be exam time. So this is the ideal opportunity to be going over this kind of stuff. Okay, so for your starter, I want you to create a slide with a list of different file formats that you already know. So any document type of file formats, spreadsheet type of file formats, image graphic type of formats, you can video type of formats as well. So on music, choice is yours. I just want to know all the different types of file formats you know, and if you list one next to it, tell me what type of file it is. So for example, MP3 is music, MP4 is video, yeah, and so on and so on and so on. And also then select some of them and talk about how some of them might be used in pre-production. So think about the creating of things and digitizing of things. So think back to your creating a digital graphic unit and what type of file formats you needed to use within that. So add that to a slide, like I said, or more than one slide. Choice is yours. Obviously, the more the merrier. And put it into your R081 L03 PowerPoint, please. Then, once you've done that, again, we're talking about listing those file formats, image, graphic, print products, video, sound, audio, and game type of file formats. This time, though, I want you to think about the units that you've done already. So we're talking game production, creating digital graphic, and we're going to be doing a website creation assignment as well. Hopefully, we'll hit the floor running as soon as we get back to school with that. We'll quickly try to finish off the game development unit, and then we'll get on with our website design. Website design is pretty cool, pretty fun. It's not too difficult. Year 9s have just, when we were in school, created websites themselves, so it's not that onerous. The big thing with the creation of it, again, like all of the units, is the planning phase. So it will be what we're doing in pre-production. Whether we've got our assets, that's where all the marks are. The website could be all singing or dancing, but if you haven't got any evidence prior to creating that, then that's where you lose all your marks in your assignment. Anyway, that went off the point a little bit. So yeah, think about those 3 units. So digital graphic, website design, and game development, and add that into your PowerPoint, please. So a bit of reading or explanation on file formats for pre-production documents. So if a pre-production document is created by hand, they need to be digitized. For example, by scanning and then storing it as an image file, such as a JPEG, a TIFF, or a PDF. So the photocopier or the printer, whatever you want to call it, in school, in the class, it will do that. You can scan your images in, and the guys that have done who do business as well with me and Miss Rosbrook, some of the stuff that they've done for me in terms of drawing some images for their products, they've scanned them in to the computer, so they digitized them so that they can use them within documents. You can do that with any scanner, or you can take photos and then convert them in particular file formats that you want to when you're on the PC or on the laptop. So if pre-production documents are created digitally, the file format is determined by the software that was used to create it. So if you create it on a digital platform, depending on the software you use will depend on what file format it puts it in. And then you can opt to put it into a specific one, but if you just go with the flow and click save and whatever, it will automatically put it in whatever file format it wants to, and it will be based on the software. Aim to export in a generic format though, for use on other computers. So what you should look to do, so for example, Serif, if we create an image on Serif, it will automatically look to save it as a Serif file. Okay, now Serif file, not everybody can access and see. So when this is why for our assignment for digital graphics, we had you to save it as the original file, obviously, because we can edit that then. But you have to export it as a PNG so that the examiner can see it, because not everybody has access to the same software you might have. So somebody may produce an image in Photoshop, and we can't see that in Square as the Photoshop file. We can see it as an image file format, but we can't see it as the Photoshop file because we haven't got Photoshop in Square, where we've got Serif and so on. Okay, so you need to make sure whenever we create something, whether it's a video, whether it's an image, it needs to go out or be exported as a generic format for use on other computers. So they're an example of some file formats for exporting from different programs. So Microsoft Word, the original file format is a .doc, and it can be exported then into a PDF and so on and so on and so on. Same with all of the top four really, and Apple Pages as well. They can be exported as a doc or a PDF if you're working on a MacBook. Right, Photoshop, like I say, it'll save it as a PSD, which is a Photoshop file. You can export it as this. You can also export them as PNGs. Okay, and these specialist things like Gantt projects and whatever, they save them as these file types, but you can export them then as PDFs. So these type of things like Gantt project and FreeMind and whatever, they're sort of like mind map based programs. Okay, so they save them as mind map files, but then you can export them. If we look at another image creation, GIMP, we'll save it as a GIMP file. You can then export it as PNG, JPEG, whatever. Same with the Serif stuff, as we said. It'll save it as a Serif folder or Serif file, sorry, and then you can export it as a PNG or a JPEG or whatever you plan on doing with it. So file formats for the final media products. Pre-production is the planning stage. Production is the creation stage. Post-production is when you edit anything you've already created, so you make it better. And then file formats for the final media products are used in the production and post-production stages. So when you create sort of drafts and whatever, you should be also exporting those images into an appropriate file format so somebody can see them. Whether you're going to use it or not, as your final image, it doesn't matter. It still needs to be exported. So the next slide provides a review of different file formats. So we've got JPEG. JPEG's a lossy compression. It reduces file size, but the image quality goes down. Generally, they're used on digital cameras and websites. Limitations, the image quality with higher compression settings. So PNG is a lossy compression, supports transparency, and it's an alternative to GIF, and it's for web use. It's not as popular as JPEG, but what you'll find with a PNG is it doesn't lose the quality as much as a JPEG will. So TIFF, very high quality, lossless image files, very large file types. PDF is used with documents and print graphics with image content. PDF so cannot be edited directly. You must edit them in the original file format. So some of you might have been getting PDF documents through class charts, and you can't edit them. They need to be in the original file format. So GIF, small file sizes, supports transparency and animation, used in web buttons, logos, clip art, things like that. There's limited range of colors though, and licensing restrictions. This format is protected by copyright. So like when we move on to websites and stuff, you can put animations on your website, things going across your website and whatever. They'd be saved as GIF files. Okay, when we look at audio, we've got MP3s, WAV, AVE, ORG, Vorbis. So the MP3 is basically the most widely supported format, and then WAV probably after that. So the Windows versions basically of MP3s. Okay, have a read through that. Then when we talk about videos, we've got MPEG, MP4, MAV, AVI, FLV, so flash videos. These are different, obviously, video types. Most video types are supported across every platform now. There's no real issues with those. FLV, video and animation based stuff, is saved as an FLV file. Okay, so we'll look at that. And then specific within animation, SWF files, supported well by Apple computers. GIFs, as we said, FLVs, as we said, and MOVs as well. So it's used as a video file format as well. So for your next slide, compression. For pre-production and file formats of the final products, compression is the process of using compressed file types to reduce the file size. That's what it is. So I want you to research and come up with some definitions of lossless and lossy. So I want to know what lossless is, and I want to know what a lossy is, and the different file formats that they are used in, please. So once you've researched what they are, next slide, then compile a list of lossy and lossless file formats for image, sound, and video. So what are they? So put a title of images, the lossy file formats, the lossless file formats, and so on. Make sure you have at least one lossy and lossless format for each file type. And then next slide, what file formats could you use for the following projects? So look at those 5 different projects and tell me what type of file formats you could use for those projects and why you would use them for those projects, please. And then on your next slide, make a copy of that table, okay, and make a list of the media projects that could use them for a final export. So what type of media projects could you use for a PDF or for a GIF or for a TIFF or for an MP4? And by media product, I mean a movie, a record, a DVD, a video game, a magazine. that's a media product. Okay. So across the module, or this lesson actually, you will have looked into file formats used within pre-production and file formats used within final media products. Then for the very last slide of the lesson today, you need to test your knowledge of file formats. Write down a list of at least 2 file formats that you could use for each of the following: comic book, magazine, podcast, video, animation, or interactive multimedia product. So I want at least 2 file formats for each one of those products. Okay. Obviously, don't look back until you've written them, just to check your understanding or your learning. Add it all in, R081, L03, save it all up. Make sure you don't just close it without saving it. And there's one more lesson after this, and then we'll be handing it in on Teams. Okay, stay safe, speak soon.